You know, it's only February, but believe it or not, out in western Rajasthan, a pretty powerful heat wave is already starting to build. And this isn't your usual spring warm-up either. We're talking about something way more intense for this time of year. So let's dive in and see what the data is really telling us about this crazy surge in temperature.
Okay, so what's happening is that daytime temperatures are just shooting up, and I mean fast, way faster than they normally would. This isn't some slow, gradual change. It's a sudden spike that's definitely got meteorologists watching closely. So we can all feel that it's getting hot, right? But what are the actual hard numbers telling us? What's the science behind this, and where is it hitting the hardest? Well, that's exactly what we're going to break down. All right, first things first, let's get into the why. What specific conditions are coming together to cook up this early heat wave? It turns out the meteorological department has a really clear answer. It's basically these three things creating a perfect storm for heat. Think about it. You've got this super intense sunlight just beating down with absolutely no clouds to block it. And at the same time, the weather is so dry there's hardly any moisture in the air or the ground to soak up that energy. So pretty much all of that heat goes straight into warming up the air around you. But here's where it gets interesting. While the days are getting unusually hot, the nights are, well, they're still providing some relief. They're still cold for sure, but the reports are showing that the intensity of that winter chill is already fading. And that's a huge sign that the seasons are shifting way ahead of schedule. Okay, so we know why it's happening. Now let's talk about where. We're going to pinpoint the exact hot spots that have already blown past a pretty major temperature milestone. And here it is, our headline number. On Monday, the city of Barmer officially became the hottest place in the entire state, hitting a whopping 31.2 degrees Celsius. Just to put that in perspective, that's over 88 degrees Fahrenheit in early February. Wow. And Barmer was definitely not alone in this. I mean, look at this list. A full 9 cities have officially joined what we're calling the 30-degree club. It's not just one random outlier. And notice how cities like Jaisalmer, Jodhpur, and Bikaner are all clustered right there at 30.6 degrees. This tells you it's not some small pocket of heat. It's a huge regional thing.
So we've got our 30-degree club, but that's not where the story ends. This warming trend is spreading out even wider, with a whole bunch of other places right on the verge of crossing that same line.
And yep, the heat just keeps on spreading. You can think of this next group of cities as being on the watch list. They are knocking, and I mean knocking, on the door of that 30-degree mark, which just goes to show how widespread this whole thing is. I mean, just look at how close these are. Nagora at 29.9, Churu at 29.8. They're just tenths of a degree away. This is so important because it proves this isn't just about a few hotspots in the West. The heat is really pushing into lots of other areas too. And this right here might be the most critical piece of the puzzle. Even in places that don't look so hot on paper, like the capital, Jaipur, the temperatures were still way above what's normal for this time of year. Being 2 degrees above average across the board, that's a massive signal that the entire region's baseline temperature is jacked up. So, we've covered the what, the why, and the where. But what's the big picture takeaway here? When you put it all together, what does this all really mean? Okay, so here's the bottom line from the folks at the meteorological department. In every single city we've talked about, the temperatures weren't just high, they were anywhere from 2 to 5 degrees Celsius higher than the seasonal average. That is a huge deviation from the norm. It's not just a little warm, it's statistically significant. And listen, the experts are not calling this a fluke. They are on the record saying this early heat is, and I'm quoting here, a sign of the changing weather. That is a pretty direct and official acknowledgement that something bigger is going on. So, I'll just leave you with this thought to chew on. The data is clear. We're seeing an unusual and really intense heat wave building in February. It really makes you stop and wonder, if this is our starting point, before summer has even thought about beginning, what on earth could the peak months of May and June have in store?